will clash, viewpoints will be challenged, and minds will be expanded. But before we move ahead, a short brief about Toastmaster International. Toastmaster International was founded in 1924 by Dr. Ralph C. Medley at WMCA in California, USA, a leading nonprofit organization for the last 99 years and a successful leader in communication and leadership development. Every club is driven by a purpose and mission. And the mission of our club is that we provide a supportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Our core values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. A few ground rules to be followed. Taboo topics like sex, religion, and politics are to be avoided, and mobile phones to be switched off or to be in silent mode. Since it's an online event, please ensure to keep your audio and video muted unless you're presenting. And please applaud the speaker before and after their speech using virtual emoticons. As we embark on this journey of intellectual exploration, let us remember that respectful discourse is the cornerstone of any successful debate. We have the privilege to witness the power of words and the art of persuasion in action as participants present their well-researched arguments and engage in healthy discussions. Without much further ado, let us begin this exciting event. And for that, I hand over the spotlight to the dashing and amazing Area 9 Assistant Area Director for Program Quality and member of Dream Toastmasters, Mr. Yatish. Over to you, Yatish.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepa. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to debate education session organized by Area 9 team. This session is to prepare ourselves for the upcoming debate contest. And you will be wondering why I am addressing you all instead of our area director Toastmaster collision. Well, as we all attending this meeting online from the comfort of our home, our area director is attending the meeting comfortably from his hometown. He is on holiday and he advised me to lead the meeting. However, he is available in our meeting room now to support us. So before going further, I would like to request him to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Yatish. Yes, debate is healthy and necessary in a free society. It is not something to be feared, rather it is something to be embraced. Quoted Thomas S. Monson. Most of us, we are here to enhance our public speaking, critical thinking, and communication skills. And debating helps us with this. These skills are crucial for our personal and professional development. Area 9 of Division C, District 127, comprising of Dreams, Emerson UAE, Mahe Dubai, and SSY Toastmasters Club, plans to conduct our online area debate contest on 22nd of October 2023. For the coming 2 months, we will encounter a battle between the club members of each of these clubs, and the winners will take part in our area contest. I would like to specially thank Toastmaster Yatish for organizing this, our Assistant Area Director, Program Quality. Please, let's all please give him a very big round of applause because I think he's already done a wonderful job over here. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Yatish. And I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our Division C Director, Toastmaster Soumya Shetty. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Soumya, for attending today's session. I'm not sure if you would be able to give a sentence or two, if you could talk. I understand you also are on vacation just like me. So please unmute and please brief the audience.
Thank you so much, AD Collision, and congratulations, Area 9, on conducting this education session. I think it's a very good initiative. apart from the benefits which you have told, Collision, that it debating benefits us both professionally and personally, because that's the best way to test any idea, and the best one will rise on to the top, and it helps us in our decision making skills. This year, it's again what makes it more special is, like Yatish has rightly said, we are having a debate contest. There are a lot of new Toastmasters who haven't witnessed debating before, so this is a platform for them to witness. And there are a lot of Toastmasters who, because last year there was no debate contest, might have lost the touch of debating. So we are like honing our skills. So all the best. Thank you again, Yatish, Collision, and our dashing education session to be done by Toastmaster Stephen George. I'm excited and I'm here to learn as well. So congratulations to everyone, and let's have a very productive session out of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Soumya. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I would also like to thank my area council members, Toastmaster Deepa, Toastmaster Prasanna, and Toastmaster Amrita, along with the presidents, VPs, VPMs, and all the executive committee members of all 4 clubs. Thank you so much for the support you all have provided in ensuring that today's education session is outreach to each and every one of our members. Not only our members, I see there are members from other clubs, other areas, other divisions also over here. I'm so happy to see this and hope it will benefit you all. And without further ado, as I'm logging in back from India, I'm not very sure if the connection will be well. I would like Toastmaster Yatish to take charge of the stage and please take over. All the best, Toastmaster Yatish, and all the best to you, Area 9. All the best, clubs.
Thank you, Toastmaster Collision and Toastmaster Soumya for that encouraging words. All right, our agenda for today, it has got 5 sections. The first one is the introduction section, which is happening now. Then the core of the meeting, which is the debate education session, followed by mock debate session. Then there will be evaluation and question answer session, followed by the closing session. To make sure the meeting happens as per the agenda, we have few key role players who are going to assist us in leading the meeting today. And it is my duty and responsibility to recognize and acknowledge their support. So the first key role player today here is Toastmaster Prasanna, our Zoom master for the session. May I request Toastmaster Prasanna to turn on your camera and spotlight yourself. Okay, Toastmaster Prasanna is a current PR manager of Area 9. He's part of SSY Toastmasters Club and is HR by profession. The next key role player who ensures meeting proceeds as per the timing denoted in the agenda is timer. Our timer for today is Toastmaster Shijesh Pillai, current president of Mahi Dubai Toastmasters Club. May I request Toastmaster Shijesh to brief about your role?
Thank you, Toastmaster Yatish. A very good evening to all the Toastmasters and guests present over here. As a timer, I'll make sure that each and every section is as mentioned in the agenda and should be followed by the time. Like, for example, our today's educational session is going to be conducted by Toastmaster Stephen George. So his timing, I'll put the green card when it's 25 minutes. I'll display the amber card when it's 27 minutes, and I'll display the red card when it is 30 minutes. So that is my role for today. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Yatish.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shijesh Pillai. Now, before our Zoom master or timer go invisible, may I request everyone to switch on your camera if you are comfortable to do so for a group photo. I can see a lot of familiar faces on my screen. Thank you so much. So may I request Toastmaster Prasanna to take a screenshot to capture the memory of the meeting. Please give your best smile. All right, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for attending the meeting. Now, brief about Area 9. Toastmaster Collision has already mentioned about the 4 clubs which are part of Area 9 family. Area 9 has got 4 amazing and active clubs. In this, 2 are corporate clubs and 2 are open clubs. I brief about these 4 clubs in alphabetical order. I begin with the Dreams Toastmasters Club. It is one of the oldest club in Area 9 family. It has completed 15 years of existence and it is headed by Toastmaster Zainat Tamimi as president for this term. Second club is Emerson UAE Toastmasters Club. It is a corporate club. The membership here is limited to the employees of Emerson UAE company, and it is headed by Toastmaster Anil as president. Third club is another corporate club, Mahe Dubai Toastmasters Club. It is open for students and faculty of Mahe Dubai campus, and it is headed by Toastmaster Srijesh Pillai as president for this term. Fourth one is SSY Toastmasters Club, another senior club in our area. It has completed 11 years of its existence, and it is headed by Toastmaster Parisagar as president. With this, it is time for me to hand over this virtual stage to one of the most respected Toastmaster in our region. He always brings magical charm with his presence to any meetings. He is the past director of Division L, which is the former division of Division C. He is the one who makes his presence felt with his witty words. An amazing speaker, guide, mentor, and human being. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Stephen George, our education session trainer for today. Over to you, Toastmaster Stephen George.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Yatish. Before I start off, I would just like to state a few words. Thank you so much for the applause. I think Yatish immediately switches off his camera. Very nice. No, it's okay. It's okay. You can go offline. That's okay. I'm just joking. But I have a secret feeling that Yatish, I think you have a huge crush on me because I know for a fact that this must be the third or fourth time that you're listening to this education session because I've been doing it in Dreams for the last 3 years. Nothing much has changed. So Yatish, I think you're not tired of listening to this again and again. The reason why I'm bringing this up is debate is something which was started in 2013 or 14. I don't know if DTM GG you were there at that point of time, but it used to be back then the Division J director started it in Al Futtaim Training Center. And the good news about the debates is that the rules of the debate have not changed much. So it is the rules and the basics of doing a debate is always remain the same. So it'll be great that many of you who have heard this education session before, it will be like a refresher course. But to many of you who are listening to it for the first time, it's going to be an absolute blast. So before I start off with the basics of debate, I just want to say thank you to the entire Area 9 team. Toastmaster Collegian and your entire team. You guys have already done the vote of thanks at the beginning, so I don't need to repeat the names all. I would especially like to thank Toastmaster Prasanna for that amazing poster. Okay, it reminded me of me doing an audition for Adipurush 2 because you remember Adipurush 1 in which Saif Ali Khan has the 10 heads of Ravan. It felt like he was trying to audition me for that role by putting my same photo like 3 or 4 times on the poster. But jokes aside, it was a brilliant poster. I just wanted to give credit where credit is due. Thank you, Khalijan, um, Yatish, as well as Prasanna, and all the team members here who will be helping me out. Okay. So now this is what we're going to do. Okay. So we're going to have an education session in the beginning. Okay. After that, we're going to have a mock debate. Okay. In the education session, okay, we're going to have it for like 20-25 minutes, after which there will be a small Q&A as well. So it'll be a time for you, like I said, if you have already heard this before, to get refreshed. Or if you are hearing this for the first time, I would like to state one thing very honestly. Since you will be dedicating, let's say, 1.5 hours of your life to Area 9 and to listen to my words, I want to state this. If the aim of yours is to be the best debater in the world, Let's say that you want to be the next Barack Obama, or you want to be like Shashi Tharoor. I know many of you might remember his speech in Oxford University, the wonderful debate that he has done. If your aim is that, that is not what I'm going to tell you. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is how to win a Toastmasters debate contest. Okay. What are the tips and tricks that you need to do to make sure that you get the basics right and you will be able to implement it in your speeches. So debate in Toastmasters is both an art and a science. It is a science because there, if you follow, let's say, a template of doing things, you will easily achieve, like, say, 60 or 70 points out of 100 in a judge's ballot, easily. The remaining points is obviously what determines the first place from the second place to the third place. And that is where it becomes where your art and your personal touch comes into the beam. So what I would suggest is, since it can get a bit boring because I'm talking for 20-25 minutes, what I would suggest is two things. Number one, if you are in front of your laptop, if you can find a pen and paper, it will be great if you can write notes so that you can refer to that at a later point of time. Secondly, if you have any doubts, we will have a Q&A session at the end of it. So you can either send the questions to me on chat, or maybe at a later point you can unmute yourself. So if you want, you can put on those questions in the chat as well, so that it will be answered towards the end. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dig deep in, and in each slide I will tell you 3 or 4 points that is critical or key that you have to remember if you want to win a Toastmasters debate contest. All right, now let me quickly share the screen. Okay, Gigi, you're the only one I can see, so can you see the screen? All right. Okay, so tips and tricks. Perfect. All right. Now, how we are going to divide this is, first and foremost, I'm going to give you a brief on what the structure of a debate is going to be. The most important slide that you all have to by heart if you're interested in participating in the contest is the second point, that is the judge's ballot. That means even if I wake you up at 3:30 or 4 a.m. in the morning, along with your morning prayers, you should be able to say the judge's ballot without uh, like hesitating for a bit. Then we will go quickly into what an opening speaker should do, a rebuttal speaker, and a closing speaker. And fourth point is good to know, which I might even skip if time is not willing. Okay. Srijesh, what I would suggest is give me green at 15, yellow at 20, and red at 25. Okay, which gives me 5 minutes.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So now many of you will be participating for the very first time. Okay. So I would like to start off with the very basics. If you're trying to form a team for, let's say, Area 9 contest or Division C contest, or whichever division you've come from, you need 3 players in your team. That's it. Okay. You need an opening speaker, a rebuttal speaker, and a closing speaker. Okay. Now, don't need to study too much about it. Remember this: opening speaker presents the case, rebuttal speaker rebuts the points told by the opposite team, and closing speaker is the job is to summarize. Those are the 3 main points that you need to remember. Okay, opening, rebuttal, and closing. Don't forget it, because we're going to go deep into each one of them. Opening, rebuttal, closing. Now, many of you, any debate, just like in your school and in your college times, you have team which is for the topic or team which is against the topic. Okay, so how we're going to do it is, first, the speakers who are for the topic and against the topic, the opening speakers will get a chance to speak. So both opening speakers speak for 3 minutes. Okay. After that, the rebuttal speaker for the team against the motion will speak. Okay, for another 3 minutes, and their job is to rebut the points set. So let me just use the annotations which are there. First, A1, who's for the topic, N1 against the topic. So A1 and N1 will speak. Then N2 will rebut the points of A1, after which A2 will rebut the points of N1. I hope all of you can see the screen. The reason is, after N1 speaks, We cannot go to A2 simply because of the fact that you need to give this poor A2 rebuttal some time to at least think and rebut the points. So we first go to N2, then it goes to A2. Then after that, the two concluding speakers speak. Now, DTM Gigi is a seasoned Toastmaster. He will be moderating the debate and you will see how it is being done. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But remember, first opening speakers, then the rebuttal, and then the closing speaker speaks. Okay. Now, before I lose, or in case I lose all of you for this debate, I want all of you to remember this. If you are winning the contest, I keep telling everyone this. Your objective is not to please the 200 or 300 speakers who come during the debate contest. No. Your objective is to make sure that you get 100 out of 100 in the judges ballot of maybe 8 to 10 judges which are there. If you're able to do that, you have won the contest. Okay, so this is not a like a beauty pageant where you need to like get claps of everyone. No, you need to get 100 out of 100 in 8 judges. So how you do that is, remember the basics. First thing is, content is 70 percentage. That means delivery is 30. Now what that means is, let's say that you give the most flamboyant speech, use the words from Shashi Tharoor's thesaurus, you look like Angelina Jolie on stage, and you have the stage presence of one of the best theater actors. Even if you do all of that, you are going to get 30 out of 30. If any judges is worth their salt, they are going to give you 30 out of 30. But even more than international speech contest, content is king in terms of a debate contest. Okay. Now, when I speak about contest, I'll just go through each one of them one by one. Debate development is basically, let's say for an opening speaker, how the points are structured. Has the person given facts, figures, statistics? Is it structured in a very organized way, which is easy to understand? That gives you 30 points. The 20 points is basically points which is related to the exact points that you said. So if the points that you said are something which is different, something which is interesting, which, like they say in the ballot, has contributed to original thinking, there you will get 20 out of 20. And then one important thing which I would like to state is a question which is asked in almost all the sessions I take is, you see this believability? Are the points which I said fact checked? The answer is no. There is no fact checking which is there in Toastmasters, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that you have to Donald Trump your way through this debate. Okay. Let me be very honest. I've been in one debate. I give this example all the time, but in my first year of the debate, I heard one of the speakers say this point that India has 95% of the people below the poverty line. Now, I'm from India. I know fact that a lot of people are below the poverty line, but that doesn't mean that you have to say that 95% is. So you don't need fact checking for that. You directly know that it is not true. So that is something that you need to take care of, not to give points which are not believable at all. Thirdly is effectiveness. How well as a team did you coordinate? And normally judges use this concept of thinking of, was I convinced? Was the speaker effective in communicating his points to me? If the answer is yes, the points will be there. So 70 points for content and 30 delivery. Many of you would have already participated in a contest, so you might know, but I'll just quickly go through it. Voice, it all depends on pitch, rate, volume. Okay, the pitch is like if you're emphasizing a point, let's say that you add to it, or rate is the number of words that you say. At times when you have to say a serious point, you slow down and you emphasize the point, or volume where you speak in high volume or low volume. Manner, I mean, if you are a debate speaker, if you end up speaking in a very sullen or soft voice, the judges might think that you yourself don't believe in your points. If that's the case, then you might score low in manner as well as effectiveness. And correctness is your English grammar, the words that you use. So if you use really, really wonderful words with great grammar, you will score high in terms of correctness. So now, uh, one main takeaway from this slide is, remember, content is king and contributes to 70 out of 100 points. Get your points in order, and that itself means that, like in back in Indian schools, we say that we almost get distinction. You will get distinction in the judges ballot. Okay. Now let's go through each and every one of these role players. Okay. Now, the opening speaker. Now, the opening speaker is one of the most important speakers in your team, because he or she, I don't know how many of you follow cricket, but have you seen Virendra Sehwag? So Virendra Sehwag is somebody considered to be one of the best opening batsmen, because whether it is T20, ODI, or Test cricket, first ball that he gets, he hits it for a four. He sets the tempo high. So when a judge sees a team with a very strong opening speaker, with a lot of courage, confidence, emphasis, a lot of good points, there is that sudden, I wouldn't say it's called halo effect, but you generally feel like giving points to not only the opening speaker, but also his team members as well, because it looks like a team that is well prepared. So these are psychological things that you can play on with. So have a strong opening speech, and how to do that is something which I will state for you. Now, key takeaways: make sure that you exude confidence, but remember that in your opening speech, the three main things that needs to be there is, you need to deal in facts. Facts means it should be a fact and not a personal opinion. Every fact should be corroborated with figures, statistics, research, and they should be logical. So if there's anything that you can get from this slide, remember this: exude confidence, make sure that you speak in facts and not opinions, backed by research, and they are logical. Okay. Now, few tips and tricks which I would like to say if you intend to be a opening speaker. Now, if you're an opening speaker, you're given only 3 minutes, guys. Trust me when I say this, you will not get time for more than 3 points emphatically. So make sure that you give only 3 or maximum 4 points, but I would suggest stick to 3 points. Okay. Now, another important tip I would like to give is, don't form a middle ground. Like, for example, the debate topic which I showed in the previous slide is, healthcare should be free. Let's say that you're against the motion. Let's say that you're against the motion. In such a case, you should not say something like, healthcare should probably be free in countries which can afford it, like USA or China, but not in countries which can't. No, no, no. Don't form that middle ground. Either you're for the topic or you're against the topic. If you're against the topic, healthcare should not be free in any of the countries. So don't form the middle ground, because it shows that it is wayward. Again, remember to stick to the facts. Anything without supporting it, the rebuttal speaker, it is your job to make sure that you rebut it just by saying the statement that, what are the facts, where is the research, where is, so you're giving fodder to the rebuttal speaker to form a rebuttal quite easy if you don't have that facts and figures. Now, another trick which I normally use is reiterate the topic. Let's say the topic is healthcare should be free, and you're against the topic. Mention it in all your points. Healthcare should not be free. Healthcare should not be free. So that is something which I would recommend. And lastly, I know you guys are all reading the points as well, but I want to just focus on 3 or 4 main points. Do not be afraid of the rebuttal. Whatever points that you are going to say, I can assure you the rebuttal speaker is going to rebut it. So don't overthink about what if he says that, if you do that, you will end up not having any points at all. So make sure that you have that you're not afraid of the rebuttal and you go confidently. So again, just to reiterate, facts, figures, logic, 3 main points. Don't do a middle ground. Don't be afraid of the rebuttal, but project a strong, confident image. Now, I mean, I would like to also just state one more fact, which is, how do you state a point? Now, this is something which was taught to me by one of my mentors in a club called Take Debate, where Vinod Panikar, I have to give honor where honor is due, where he told that if you're giving any point, follow something called a research. Okay, first you state the point or assert the point. Then after that, you quickly move on to reason, give an example, reiterate the point. Okay, state your point, give why you believe that point is true, give an example, reiterate the point and the topic. Within 4 or 5 sentences, that's more than enough for you to assert your point. You do that, 3 into 5 is 15 sentences, 2 sentences up and down, 3 minutes will be over. Like, for example, let's say we are saying healthcare should not be free. We can say that free healthcare is an additional burden to government GDP. Why is the reason? Because if government, let's say, has to fund for free healthcare, it would mean that more government spending means more taxes. Okay, then you give a research. Let's say, as per WHO report in 2022, we found that global spending on healthcare was 7.8 trillion, and it was observed that the spending on healthcare globally increased by 5%, but the economic growth as per IMF increased only by 3%. So if government keeps funding healthcare, they will not be able to do that because they don't have the sufficient growth. So taking that into consideration, healthcare should not be free. So state the point, state your reason, state the example, and reiterate your point. Okay, that's just one suggestion which I normally do in my debate. Okay, and all of you will have your own styles of debating. So I would like you to incorporate that, but some template things should remain as it is. Rebuttal. Now, rebuttal is somebody who generally steals the show. That's generally what happens. Okay, and it's one of the most fun thing. Now, if you want to prepare as a rebuttal speaker, my suggestion is imagine what the opponent speaker is going to speak. Opponent opening speech. What are they going to say? Write them down and then try to find rebuttal points for each one of them. Okay. I would highly recommend to rebut at least 3 points. Now, let's say that the opposing speaker did not listen to this education session and he goes on saying 10 to 15 points that he gets from debate.org or some website. In such a case, don't forget all the 15 points. Only rebut 3 points that they have to say. Okay. Now, an important point which I want to say, which I've noticed, is we have found a lot of cases where if you look at the screen, A2, that means the rebuttal speaker for the topic ends up rebutting the point said by N2. That means the rebuttal speaker for the team speaking against the topic. In such a case, do not do it. If any one of you, I'll remember the names of the participants in this meeting. If any one of you do that, I will personally get your number and I'll scream at you. This is simply giving a chance for the judges to strike down your points. When you are the rebuttal speaker for the topic, just rebut the points stated by the opening speaker for the team speaking against the motion. That's it. Okay. Now, important things again, do not add any new points. Okay, your job is to rebut the points said by the opposing speaker. Your job is not to bring new points. You can bring new points only if you wish to use that to rebut the speaker, but otherwise, just let's say, for example, by mistake, your opening speaker did not get time to finish 3 points. He just said two. Don't say, okay, I would like to state one more new point. No, that's not your job. Your job is only to rebut the points and that's it. Okay. Now, another tip which I would like to give, which really helps is if you're able to quote what your opposing opening speaker said verbatim, that means you are a very active listener and that adds points as well. So if you're able to say that my worthy opponent stated that XYZ, it adds to your caliber as a speaker, as a rebuttal speaker. And I would highly encourage all of you to learn two things. Number one, write fast. The moment that you are able to write the points said by the opposing speaker, you can rebut them better. And number two, active listening. If you're able to remember the exact words, nothing like it. Now, when you are rebutting, some of the best rebuttal speakers that I can think of, let's say DTM Sandeep or DTM Vinod Variat, all these guys, they have a knack of not teasing the speaker, but you can say something like, my worthy opponent stated XYZ, and have a very cheeky way of responding. Okay. Do not get personal. Like there was once a debate where I got personal. I said that I cannot believe the poison that was spewed from the other corner, because I was young at that time and I wanted to show that I'm a great speaker, and I used those words. Don't get personal, but you can always, in a very cheekily said, maybe while you're stating a point, that maybe my opponent needs to do a homework, and then you suggest your point. So there's a way where you can actually do that. Okay, so that's a rebuttal speaker. Now I'll quickly go on to the closing speaker. Now let's say by God's grace you guys win the area 9 contest and you go to the division C contest. I can give it to you in writing. The difference between the first place and the second place in the division C or the district 1 to 7 contest will almost always be the closing speaker. Okay, now why do I say that? This is a very underrated, because it's only 2 minutes and okay, you're only summarizing, but please make sure that you follow the template and get the basics correct. Okay, and I say the template is, your job is to remember that your judges are nothing but goldfishes. That means none of them will remember the points said by your opening and your rebuttal speaker. Your job is to remind them, okay, what were the points that my opening speaker said? What were the points my rebuttal speaker said? And then close. That's it. 2 minutes. So one of the tips that one of my mentor debaters used to tell me is, it's as if you're putting a cotton plug whenever your opponent is speaking. That means you're not even listening to their points. This is what my opening speaker said. This is what my rebuttal speaker said. I don't care what they said. So that is something which you can do. Make sure that you don't add any new points. Okay, now normally a template that we use in which you can of course use as well as make it your own and make it better is, let's say, ladies and gentlemen of the house, over the past 15 minutes we have clearly learned why the motion healthcare should be free should not be passed. The opening speaker, using solid indisputable facts from credible renowned institutions and organizations as well as examples, explained why healthcare should not be free. Then firstly, state the point and any statistic. Secondly, point statistic. Thirdly, point statistics. So if you're able to do that, brilliant, within 1 minute. After that, you can be like, the rebuttal speaker of my team clearly thrashed all the points that were stated by our worthy opponents. He stated point 1, point 2. Taking all the above facts into consideration, we request the members of the House to unanimously reject the motion that healthcare should be free. Now, I just quickly made something up from my head, but add a little bit more conviction, add the points, show some panache, and I can assure you that you will definitely at least get 70 to 80 points from the debate. Okay. Now, that's pretty much it. I can see that it's already read. Now I'll just quickly go to the good to know the do's and don'ts. Try to avoid using the notes as much as possible. When you're talking about the opponents, mention worthy opponents or learned opponents. And one last thing before I quickly move on to the debate is, please make sure that you do not mix up the topic. If your topic is against the topic healthcare should be free, you should not say that healthcare should be free at any point of time. It should always be against the motion. And also, sometimes, especially when you go to the semifinals and finals, you will end up in situations which happened to me, where you have to stand for something which you do not believe in. Now, for the next 10-15 minutes of your life, even if you don't believe in it, you believe in it, because your objective is to win the contest, and after that you can go back to your personal beliefs. So change your mind for those 10-15 minutes, and you will be you'll be fine after that. Okay, so now it's very difficult to like encapsulate everything in just 25 to 30 minutes, but I hope that you have at least gotten a brief idea. What we are going to do now is we're going to have a mock debate contest where you will be able to see the debaters and some learned debaters in action, and you will be able to form, you will get a better idea as well. Now, before I go on to that, I think we have like 2 or 3 minutes. I do not see any questions in the chat, which I think is a good news. So my teacher has told me that one of my teachers have told me that there are two. Yes, Ram, I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
I'll come to you. There are two ways. Either if you have a lot of questions, that means that the teacher didn't teach anything at all. But if there are no questions, that means everyone was sleeping. So I don't know which part it is, but I'll quickly move on to the one or two who are there. DTM, Toastmaster Ram, yes, please.
Yeah. Timing is sharp 3 minutes, or do I have normal 30 seconds grace period?
Unfortunately, unlike other contests like an international speech contest or humorous, there is no grace period in general. So after 3 minutes, it will be direct muting. So there won't be additional grace. However, District 127 will give guidelines which will shortly come, because the contest is only in November. It will come over the next couple of weeks, let's say. So there was once a year when there was 10 seconds grace period. You understand, just that 10 seconds just to close that. But when I participated, it was 3 minutes and it was done. Okay, so it's better to prepare for worst case scenario that it's immediately muted. But yeah, maybe 10
So
seconds might be.
basically, we have to close in yellow, not in red. That's all it is.
Yeah, preferably by red it should be done. Yes. Anyone else, any questions that you would like to state? I will wait for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, I can see VPM MES brainstormers. Yes.
Yeah. Myself, Rushda Banu. I haven't attended a debate so far. So my question is, if I'm a rebuttal, the first team, maybe the four, and we have already heard the opening speaker and the rebuttal of my opponent, and I'm the fourth person to talk. That is what you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what if my opponent has spoken other 3 points which my opening speaker has not spoken about? So it will be contradictory.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So what I would suggest is, let's say that you are in my slide A2. That means you're the rebuttal speaker for the topic. Completely forget about what the N2 was speaking. That means the against rebuttal. Completely forget about what. You focus only on rebutting the points stated by A1. That means the opening speaker, which is against the topic. Only focus on their 3 points and rebut it. Completely forget about what were the points.
Yeah. What if what they have spoken about is completely opposite to the points that we have spoken? My opening speaker. That doesn't matter.
Okay. That is completely up to their team strategy. If that is the case, then you have so let's say that your opening speaker against the topic is telling points. It's your job to rebut the points that were said by them. Okay, so that you can. So you're saying, let's say that the opening speaker against the topic says 3 points, which is against the top, which is, let's say, against the 4 topic. Okay, if that's the case, then you have the right to rebut them. Your job is to rebut the points said by the opening speaker. That's it, whatever those points are.
Opening speaker, rebut the points of opening speaker of my opponents.
Absolutely correct. That's it. That's
not
well
my
stated.
my opening speaker.
No. That is no.
Okay,
please
fine.
don't do. Only if your rebuttal, focus on your opponent opening speaker. That's it. Opponent opening speaker.
Okay.
Whether you're for or against the topic. Okay. Amina, over to you.
Hi, good evening, Toastmasters. I'm from Dubai Toastmasters. So my question is, if you don't have knowledge on the topic, so how do you when open on rebut? And closing is very easy. Probably though you have to just see the opening and the rebut. But how do you open? I mean, for the opening and for the rebut speaker. Thank you.
Very, very good question. So I'm just going to give you quickly 2 to 3. By the way, Yatish, I'll take it from my ending Q&A this time. Okay, in case this exceeds, no worries. So I'll just tell you 2 2 to 3 tips which I use in order to do. First and foremost is just type the topic on Google. There are so many websites which are already there called debate.org, as well as many school websites, college websites are there, which will get you the points. Maybe 2 to 3 points you will definitely get from that for sure. From that, you take those 2 to 3 points and then you do further research and getting the statistics and all of that. But the main point I want to state is what will happen if you reach the semifinals and finals, okay, and you don't have time to do that research. That's where the tricky part comes, where you have only 10 to 15 minutes. In such a case, okay, you have to learn to do that Googling fast. If that's not there, if you have a strong okay, let me just structure this better. In your team, when you select in Dubai Toastmasters Club, I would highly recommend to hire one person in your team who we called an idea generator. Okay, his job is not to check Google at all. He's just a very smart guy, can be a boy or a girl. His job is just to talk and give points one after the other, because if Google can't answer you, either yourself or that guy will come up with the points that you have to say. So it's sometimes Google might not give you all the answers, and it might be difficult to get 3 points through Google.
Correct.
Then it's always better that you guys discuss among yourselves and try to find, if not 3, 2 points. But if you have 2 points with valid statistics and research, the judges are going to give you points. And it's the finals and you have 10 minutes of preparation. They know that it won't be as good as your group stages where you had like 3 or 4 days or 1 week of preparation. So group stages, don't worry, you will have enough time. Check Google properly, find the points. In your finals, that's where the tricky part comes. You need to have that camaraderie and to come up with at least 2 points in your speech.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah,
Thank you, Amina. Somebody called DS.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
I have attended just one or two debates so far. I have been a spectator. And I was wondering if there are some grounds for protest, because I heard some words being used like nonsense and garbage by the rebuttal speaker. And they said it's unbelievable what nonsense the opening team is saying, some garbage, something like that. So I wasn't sure whether these things are allowed or they are part of the polite ridicule which you mentioned.
Okay, so so cheeky humor is a very fine line. Like, what is yes or you do have grounds to protest. You can of course go to the chief judge and you can say that we do not believe that this is standing up to Toastmasters values. You can do that. That being said, it is up to the judges and let's say the chief judge and the voting judges to decide amongst themselves whether it is part of, let's say, cheeky humor or not. Ultimately, remember that it is up to the judges, but you have every ground to go to the chief judge and tell, listen, the speaker said this, and we believe that it does not uphold Toastmaster values. So you are well within your rights to do that. But remember that it is up to the chief judge and the judges, and their decision will be final. Okay? Good question, by the way. We have seen it happen multiple times, so I know that it comes from a good place. Anyone else? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so great. Yeah, it reminds me of Chandrayaan 3 launch. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to hand it over back to Toastmaster Yatish. I think I'll hand it back to you. We're going to have a quick mock debate by contestants who have already prepared before on a topic, and then after that there will be a quick evaluation by me, and if there are additional grounds for grounds, it seems. I think Divya's protest is in my head. If there is any other questions that are in here that you feel to ask, please go ahead and do so. So that's it from my end. Yatish, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stephen, for that